Hey, I'm Liz. So I love making jewelry. I'm certified in jewelry repair and diamond setting, but one of the first things that ever got me started with making jewelry was stamping on metal. I love it. Even when you make more advanced stuff, I think it just adds that little extra, like personalization to things. I still stamp a lot, even when I'm making like more intricate pieces. Um, and so I wanted to share with you guys how to do that. Because when I got interested in stamping, I don't even remember. I think I saw somebody had stamped something like on Instagram. I was looking through a tag or something, and I was like, I need to learn how to do that. So I got on YouTube, and there weren't like a ton of tutorials. I don't know if there are now, but I thought I would make one just in case anybody else is interested in stamping, because it's a really fun way to be creative and make jewelry, and to get started with making jewelry if you're interested in that. Um, so, I mean, even this, I made this ring for myself. It's kind of silly. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Of course not. Well, whatever. It says, I'm awesome. Um, Come on. There you go. You can kind of see it. But, I mean, even when I'm making things where I have to solder and do, like, more advanced jewelry things, I still stamp all the time. Um, you can stamp on really any metal. My favorite when I was first starting out was aluminum, because aluminum is super soft. It's so easy to stamp on. It's so cheap. It's lightweight. It never tarnishes, which is like the best thing about aluminum. The only thing that sucks about aluminum is you can't solder aluminum. Like, you can't put heat to aluminum and like put it together with other metals or with other pieces of aluminum. So but it's great for stamping on. If you're just trying to make like a pendant or a keychain or something, that's what I always go towards when I'm not putting any heat on it. So what you will need for this tutorial, this is just going to be simple and basic, and please don't get bored or click away because I don't know how to edit. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. So this is going to be like a full through thing, but hopefully it's not going to be too long. So first off, you're going to need stamps. Let's see, these are some stamps here. These are from the brand Impress Art, which I'll put everything down below so you know what I used. I got those off Amazon. Amazon is a great place to get stamps. You just type in, sorry, I just cracked my knuckle. You just type in metal stamping set or whatever, and they have like the best discounts and deals on that kind of stuff. Another great website is called beaducation.com, and I'll put that down there too. But they're like the best stamping site that I've ever been able to find. They have so much, like so many different like little blanks that you can stamp on, and different metals and different stamp sets and all kinds of stuff. Like, they're awesome. So you should check them out if you're interested in getting started with this kind of stuff. Next thing you're going to need is a hammer. Any kind of, this is also Impress Art, but any hammer will work. When I first started out, I used to use just a regular old hammer that I found in the garage. I mean, everything works. This one's just nice because it's like very heavy at the top. It's brass, and I mean, you need a good strike on the stamp to get a good impression, but any hammer is going to work for you if you don't want to go out and buy a hammer until you know that you like it. Excuse me. Also, a place, I know a lot of people don't like this place, so don't bite my freaking head off, but also a place that has metal stamps in their store is Hobby Lobby, and they're not very expensive, and they're not like the best quality, but that's what I first got, just to start out, like to see if I like doing it before I ordered a bunch of stuff offline. You're also going to need a piece of metal. This is just an old scrap of aluminum. Like I said, one of the best metals that I think there is to stamp on. You're also going to need a bench block, which is pretty important, honestly. You actually probably should have this before you try to do, and they're not very expensive, but this is to put your metal on top of and stamp onto it. And then you're going to need some sort of cloth. These are polishing pads, which I got off Beaducation. These are really great because they polish up your metal and they'll remove the Sharpie marks, which you're going to need a Sharpie also to color in your letters so that they stand out. So you're going to need something. When I first started out, I used just a piece of fabric. That works perfectly fine, but these are great just to polish it as well. And then you're also going to need tape. They will try to sell you online like specific like stamping tape that's like ridiculously expensive, and don't fall for that gimmick because you can just use any kind of tape. I used to use Scotch tape. I also used to use Post-it notes. Actually, I used to swear by Post-it notes. Just anything that's sticky and will hold your metal down and will give you a straight line across the metal so that you're stamping in a straight line. Alright, so like I said, this is going to be all the way through, so please don't get bored and stick with me. Hopefully you can see that. Hello. Okay, so here is my piece of metal and my bench block here. You just put your metal on your bench block and then you're going to take your tape, and I like to get a long piece of tape, longer than I need, and you just try to make it as even as possible. Put it down on your metal like so. Sorry, like so. And then I like to fold it over the sides of my bench block like that, just so my metal is like sturdy in place. It's not going to move as I'm like striking the stamps down onto it. And then I'm just going to stamp the words "What's up?" Here's my stamps. So you're going to take your first stamp, you're going to put it on your metal close to your tape, and you're going to slide it down, and you're going to feel it grip on that tape. And that's where you're going to want to stop, and that's where you're going to want to stop for every single one of your stamps as you're going along in the word. So you hold it there. You're going to want to hold it real sturdy. Try to use like your thumb and like 3 fingers to just hold it as straight and as sturdy as you can. The first couple times you do this, you're probably going to like jump with your hand, like you're going to get some missed stamps, but just keep with it, keep practicing, because you'll start to understand how you need to hold it for it to stay in one place as you hit it. So you're going to hold it there real sturdy, straight up and down. Take your hammer and maybe kind of set it there just so you know where you're going to hit it, and then you're going to pull it. This is hard to explain. You're going to just strike it hard one time like so, and it's loud, but I don't know if you can see it, but there's our W. And then for our next letter, our H, you are just going to set it, it's different because there's different types of stamps and there's different fonts and sizes and everything, so I don't know, it's hard to explain how you know how to space it, but I mean you'll get the gist of it. You just want to put this next to the letter that you just stamped. You can kind of tilt your bench block up and look at the stamp from the underneath to make sure you're not going to stamp on top of the next letter, and just put it where you think you want it. Space your letters how you think you want them, and then you're just going to stamp the next letter, H, and then an A. I usually just do the same thing. I tilt it up and kind of look underneath because you can see the letter better when you tilt it up and look. I don't know if this makes any kind of sense. If not, just let me know. And I'm doing this really quickly, but I'm just trying to show you guys that it's really not that hard, and it's a fun little way to be creative. Here's my S. Almost done with what's. And like I said, once you get stamps yourself and you start playing with them, you'll figure out how to space it and how it works best for you to figure out the spacing. This might not make any sense until you start doing it, but once you actually start stamping, you'll know what I mean by like spacing the letters out. Because sometimes you might stamp on top of another letter that you just stamped, and then you're going to be really pissed off. This still happens to me all the time because you'll get like halfway through a sentence that you're stamping and you'll stamp on top of another letter, and that's the thing that sucks about stamping is if you mess up, I mean basically the thing is ruined, which kind of sucks. So you have to be careful, but it's really not hard. So I stamped "What's up?" I don't even know if you can see it. Come on. I don't know. Maybe you could see it down here. Can you see it? Can you? I don't know. But I stamped what's up, I promise. You take your tape off, and it's nice and straight from our tape. Looks great. And then this is what you're going to need your Sharpie for. Just so your letters stand out more, you're going to take your Sharpie, and you are just going to color all in these letters. And it looks like a mess, and like you're never going to be able to get that off. But you take your cloth, and you just go back over where you just colored, and it still looks like a mess, but I promise it'll come off. Even with a piece of cloth, it'll come off. Sometimes you gotta work with it, but you'll be able to get the Sharpie off. And then the Sharpie just stays down in those letters that you just stamped. And it says, "What's up?" Can you see it, guys? What's up? I mean, I know it's backwards. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I just sounded stupid. But, yeah, that's all you do. And then I don't have any shears down here or anything, but I use, like, I have these things called French shears. They're for cutting metal. They're great for cutting aluminum. It works really well. They also are great for cutting silver. I still use them in making rings and pendants and all that, because sometimes I just think sawing is just a pain in the ass. And it's so much easier to cut it and then just file it. So that's really all there is to it. If you wanted to cut that out and make it into a pendant, you can get, I have these little hole punchers here. I wish I had some shears so I could do this, but you can also buy these hole punchers. I think I got these at Hobby Lobby. You can put them up to your metal, and you just go like that, and then you've got a hole. Sorry, this is like horrible freaking quality video. But then you've got a hole, and you can make it into a pendant if you cut it out or whatever. But yeah, hopefully that made sense, and hopefully you enjoyed that and learned something. And if you decide that you love jewelry as much as I do and you want to get into stamping, then you go for it. Good for you. Don't stop there. Keep going and follow your dreams and all that sappy crap. But yeah, if you guys like this and you want to see more tutorials of how to do more jewelry things, like the video or subscribe to me or whatever. Let me know that you want to see more stuff, and I'll do that. Thanks. Bye, guys.